Good damn afternoon, Americans. Jericho Green here with you once again. Make sure you get on jerichogreen.net and mygreengear.com. Links will be in the damn description box. Now, what's today? Today is Martin Luther King Day. MLK's B-Day. What's going on? Well, you got the usual suspects tweeting out bullshit and tweeting out quotes and tweeting out I have a dream, and Biden's account probably tweeted out something about, oh, we need to continue to strive to live up to his ideals and blah, blah, blah. And you know, he did go to Martin Luther King's church in Atlanta and give a sermon yesterday, the day before Martin Luther King Day, the first sitting president to do that. So wait a minute, you're going to pick Biden to be the first sitting president to speak at Martin Luther King's church. So you know, on my live stream tomorrow, 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Monday through Saturday, I'm going to talk about that shit. But I'm going to put a link in the description box to the Uncle Tom 2 reaction that I did, the reaction video that I did. And because I went down to the premiere, got to meet the people involved, Chad Jackson, Justin, all the people involved, directors and the commentator, or the people who did the voiceovers, and the people who were in it, Carol Swain, Colonel West, tons of people. Got to see B. Tatum again, ABL, all those guys. It was a great trip. But the documentary was amazing. So if the first Uncle Tom was a grenade, then the second one was one of those bundles of dynamite that you see. There's a few bundles, and then you take the old school handle in the box and you push it down and boom. That's what number 2 is. So number 3 is going to be a damn nuke. But in number 2, I learned a lot of things in Uncle Tom part 2. And one of the things I learned was the truth about Martin Luther King. Now, of course, today, if you remember when you were in school, they usually probably play the, well, like they did at my school, my high school, my junior high, they would play the I Have a Dream speech or a clip of it over the intercom. They would talk about Martin Luther King, the same old bullshit. My 6-year-old, he comes up to me the other day and he says, Daddy, I think it was Friday, because, you know, they get a 3-day weekend for MLK Day. And he said, Daddy, I know who Martin Luther King is. I said, who is he? He said, he was a man who wanted to make everything equal, and then somebody shot him and killed him. I said, yeah, that's about as much as your 6-year-old brain can handle. I was like, yeah, that's about it. And like him, that's what I was told over and over again, every year. Martin Luther King, he fought for equal rights and civil rights, and he was nonviolent and peaceful, and he was struck down by James Earl Ray's bullet at the Lorraine Motel, April 4th, 1968, all that stuff. And you believe it in childhood, young adulthood, up until now. I was 40 plus years old when I found out the truth, and you feel duped and fooled, and you feel stupid for not digging deeper, for believing it. Because the truth is, Martin Luther King was a socialist. He believed in government being involved. He believed in big government. He believed in the redistribution of wealth. Today, we call those the ideals of a leftist, and we despise those, don't we, as conservatives or anybody who's not that fucking crazy. So that was the real Martin Luther King, and he wasn't this, above reproach man of God. He fucked around on his wife. He plagiarized the most famous speech that we know him for, the I Have a Dream speech. It almost seems like he was a character that was created. You're going to talk like this, and you're going to come from here, and these are your credentials, and you're going to be famous for a speech that we lifted, that we copy and pasted from somebody else. It's almost like he was created so he could carry out a certain plan or a portion of a bigger plan, and then when he was no longer of use, he was disposed of, probably because they didn't want him to talk. So Martin Luther King was not this person, this godlike figure that we're presented with. And it really sucks, because it would have been nice to have a person like that who was really true to that persona. And, he was adopted as the leader of black people and the leader of the civil rights movement. And the civil rights movement was not all good. There were pros and cons of the civil rights movement. The civil rights movement gave black people things, but it took things away. It took away our economic power, because pretty much white neighborhoods or white towns and black towns, or white parts of town and the black part of town, used to mirror each other. They were clean. There were businesses run by the people that lived there. Everything. Barbers, real estate offices, churches, doctors' offices, everything. What they had in the white community, they had in the black community. But after the civil rights movement, that wasn't the case anymore. Those black dollars started going to white businesses. And so that took away the economic power. Not our purchasing power, because we still have the ability to spend money, a lot of money, on stupid shit. But it took away our power to pass down generational wealth on a larger scale. On an individual scale, you can still do that if you're driven enough. But on a larger scale as a group, that was taken away. So that was definitely one of the cons of the civil rights movement. But he was the head of it. Martin Luther King, the man. You can't say anything bad about him. If you say anything bad about him, you're a sellout of some kind, or you're a conspiracy theorist. You're a bad person, basically, if you speak against Martin Luther King. But the story that we were fed was bullshit, just like with slavery. The story that we're fed at large is bullshit. Slaves did so much more. But again, if you come from greatness, that is what is expected of you. If everybody knows you're Michael Jordan's son and you step out on a court with a basketball in your hand, what's expected of you? If his dad was Joe Blow that no one ever heard about, nothing's expected of you. But you're the son of the greatest basketball player to ever live? Show me something. You better come out of the womb a fucking Harlem Globetrotter. So when you're great things, when you come from greatness, greatness is expected. So if you come from people who could mirror the white society and all the job titles inside of it and all the numbers, the statistics that go along with it, the number of nuclear families and the crime rates, population growth, all that shit. Black people were outpacing white people in population growth. But if you know that you come from that, and if everybody else knows you come from that, then that's what they will expect of you. But if all you think you come from is downtrodden, the Eeyores of ethnicities, I'm black, well, then nothing's expected of you, because you came from nothing. They were nothing, therefore you're nothing. You were passed down nothing. So that's what we expect of you. So as all the other races run out the door at 8 o'clock in the morning to be successful and create generational wealth and be prosperous in America, black folks are still behind mama's leg holding onto her apron. Because they treat black folks like kids. Well, yeah, let them act like that. Let them tear shit up. It's not their fault. They're dealing with some trauma that was passed down from slavery. Even though everybody was a victim of slavery. Everybody. How do you think we got all these different ethnicities and shit and different races here? They were getting away from something. Something fucked up. But all the shit we were told about Martin Luther King was a lie. No surprise. It just sucks that you fell for it for so long, that I fell for it for so long. I drove past some people, I think they thought I was filming them because I'm holding my phone up. Nah, people, I'm not a weirdo, because the guy waved at me. Who the fuck you waving at me? He probably thinks I'm filming his ass. But yeah, Martin Luther King was not this great man, not this holier than thou. He did everything right. The Messiah. No, none of that is true. He was a dude just like everybody else. He did some fucked up shit just like everybody else, but he was a socialist. He believed that the government was the key to fixing all of the black folks' ills. There's a clip in the Uncle Tom 2 documentary where there's a woman, a black woman, a young black woman who was speaking at his church, and she had, 5, 6 kids or some shit like that, and multiple baby daddies, no man in the home, and she's complaining about all the kids are running amok, and I need a man, and I ain't got no money, and blah, 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 and the government needs to fix it. No. When the government gets involved, that's bad. That's not good. The government is incompetent with the things that they have on their plate now. We're going to give them more? Nah, less, much less. But that's what he wanted. He thought the government was the answer to all of our problems, a redistribution of wealth. Who does that sound like? The left. So whether it's the left now or it's the left 60 or 75 years ago, it's the left. They may change their mask, but it's still the same person behind it. Still the same person. Still the same entity. Still the same corrupt, bloated, ever-expanding monster that we know as the federal government. They are the key to none of our problems. Less government, them removing themselves is the key to our problems. Them excusing themselves from our lives is the key to our problems. Because it's going to put that responsibility that they once had on us. And what does pressure make? Never mind. Forget it, guys. Just let the government take care of us. Lay down, get comfortable, plug into the matrix, and nod off to sleep. But yeah, I definitely recommend Uncle Tom 2 for everybody because it's not only that, Marxism, how it's tied into BLM and all this horse shit that we're dealing with today. It's a great documentary. I recommend it 100%, 1,000%, 1,000,000%. Uncle Tom 2. Now, let me get in here with my beautiful wife and kids. But you know how it goes. I try to be done with the left, but they just won't let me. Please subscribe. Hit that notification bell because every time it rings, a piece of shit lefty cries. Utilize the Linktree link. Get your ass over to JerichoGreen.net and mygreengear.com. I am Jericho Green. Man, I'm out.